I knew she was going to impart wisdom. I just didn't know it was from Rainbow Dash. Okay. We're all excited about the two speakers tonight. So now it is my privilege to get back at Dolan, to introduce Dolan for all these years. In The Sound of Music, there's a line, how do you solve a problem like Maria? Maria lives her life like every child would want to live. She follows her instincts, she plays hard, and has lots of friends, and is more time than not the center of any conversation. Not that our speaker is a problem, but he has been referred to as a handful. Of course, in a good and rambunctious way. Mr. Olivas, our speaker's advisor, said that he is a natural conversationalist and extremely witty. He continues that he injects energy and humor into all of our advisory discussions. We all know that he's not afraid to tackle social or community issues. I think the most telling sign of his maturation through upper school has been the way that he has tackled these issues. As a freshman, you heard him coming a mile away, lumbering at you loudly with an idea or solution to a perceived problem. As a sophomore, you could still hear him coming, but the delivery had a little bit more of the Dolan charm woven into it. As a junior, you never saw him coming. And instead of coming full force at you, there was a newfound subtleness to his discussion. As a senior, he was behind the scenes more with his cohorts, but still working to equal the playing field. He was even elected to serve as a spirit representative on student council. The next thing we knew, he was asking advice about his Oscars verbiage. And now, here he is to impart some of that Dolan charm and wisdom. The stage is yours, sir.
To follow Miss Wheeler, what a challenge. It makes me think of Sir Isaac Newton, who once said, "If I see far, it is because I stand on the shoulders of My Little Pony." Nonetheless, every spring, the Norwegian islands of Svalbard host a wonderful spectacle of nature. Upon the early morning frosts, baby barnacle geese hatch from their eggs. Looking down, the mother goose stands tall, beckoning her fledglings. She nurses her children to health, and by just their third day, they begin to walk. But on the fourth day, the babies, still unable to fly, are thrown out of the nest. Their mother watches for survivors as they spiral down 400 feet and crash into the dark, rocky expanse below. Class of 2018, as a fellow baby goose, I'll admit, I am extremely scared to be thrown off the cliff. I'm a pretty confident guy, but after tomorrow, who knows? Just over a year ago, I began that very speech with the line, "I would start by introducing myself, but you already know who I am." But that's because I've been at this school for 10 years. It's not like you had a choice. We've been brooding together in this nest all this time. But has anyone ever looked over the precipice and thought, it's a long way down? It's just been a huge game of, I want to leave this nest so badly, and you think you want to leave this nest badly. You have no idea how I want to leave this nest badly. Some of us have been competing for 12 years at the chance to be the first goose to jump out of the nest without realizing that none of us can fly. And that's okay, it's okay, don't worry. We have 24 hours to figure it out. And although I'm speaking with geese that have bigger wings or larger talons, by the graces of democracy, I stand before you all, delivering this speech with only one qualification. I am the funniest goose. Nevertheless, the baccalaureate speaker is a student that represents the best of the class. He is accomplished, poised, scholarly, attractive, and every other adjective that describes Andrew Semenza. Yet I am the one standing here in front of you today, and all I can say is I'm glad we all decided to take it in a new direction. Now, in one of the most important ceremonies at this very fine institution, I must impart unto you life-changing advice that will lead to your success and prosperity. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, for our entire lives, we've been trotting down a path where the flame of knowledge has already lit our way. So, me giving advice about the future would be like, I don't know. Who has some ideas? Oh, yeah, I guess it would be like, if a naive high school kid were to give a speech to a captive audience full of other younger children. Of course, we're graduating from one of the top 10 best high schools in the world. This high school where a perfect GPA is the 50th percentile. And admitting to a 33 ACT score, 99th percentile, would warrant an only? Naturally, when you're sitting next to the future leaders of the free world, it may lead to feelings of inadequacy. But don't fret. 20 years ago, just 90 students and 12 teachers sat in a modest salmon pink building to achieve what then seemed impossible. The establishment of the Harker Upper School. Within the first 2 years, Harker saw the start of many current legends. Miss Gilbert, Miss Moss, Miss Gargano, Miss Rudice, Mr. Bongers, Mr. Olivas, Mr. Manjuan, Mr. Corinne, and since then many others. Soon after, in the spring of 1998, Howard Nichols sent forth Harker's first graduating class. This is to say that tomorrow's graduation will celebrate the 20th anniversary of Harker's commencement and the 20th wave of super geniuses that this school will release onto the world. Alexander Wang changed the future of fashion through his innovations in women's wear and design. Surbi Sarna drove her invention into a healthcare company in vision that led to a recent acquisition of $235 million. Andy Fang found himself at the mast of DoorDash, empowering local businesses to the tune of a $1.4 billion valuation. Now, class of 2018, it's your turn, and it's your turn, and to quote Miss Wheeler, no pressure. But it's okay, it's okay. It's okay to have no idea what you're doing. I mean, it's not like we've spent at least $180,000 trying to figure it out. And like many other people our age, we want to be computer scientists, doctors, or just, I don't know, rich. But because we've collectively spent $34 million trying to decide what to do with our lives, we're cast into a box of expectations. Yours isn't the same as mine, nor is his, nor hers. Well, for one, mine, I guess I'm just expected to make everybody laugh, give a funny speech instead of trying to imbue the hard truth that sometimes the best decisions in life are those that subvert the expectations of others. It might be joining the varsity soccer team senior year with no prior experience. It might be turning down an Ivy League university for a scholarship at a state school. Or it might be confessing your fabled love to a person through the winged post. Oftentimes, to make these decisions, you won't know what you're doing, nor will you know why you're doing it. It might not make sense, you might not feel prepared. But if that's the case, then you have to make that decision. Businessman and philanthropist Sir Richard Branson says, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure you can do it, say yes and learn how to do it later. So, my fellow fledglings, as you're flailing through the Norwegian coastline, wondering if and where you'll land, always remember, just wing it. Take it from me. 4 years ago during my freshman orientation, Mr. Keller told me, in life, there are two choices. One choice that will take you closer to your goal, and the other choice that will take you farther away. To put it lightly, I was a little bit late in choosing the former. But, as I mentioned, my limited insight into the adult world shows that none of them know what they're doing either. So when the time comes, don't be thrown off your cliff, jump, and figure it out on the way down. Even though we all understand the phrase, fake it till you make it, nobody ever really explained what making it was. It might be, attaining a high GPA or gaining entrance into Stanford, but I don't think it should be. What are we doing all of this for? What will you remember? When will we collectively look at our lives, futures, legacies, and decide to choose meaning over exclusivity and prestige? But I'm afraid this gift of hindsight cannot be given as a gift. I can repeat to you what the past 20 speakers have said to you on this very stage. Try new things. Don't be afraid. It's okay to fail. Be true to yourself. But I wouldn't be saying anything you haven't already heard, and none of those things would change your mind tonight. Instead, I'll leave you with Mary Shelley, who wrote, and on the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing besides remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away. Oh, gosh, I forgot. We have juniors here. My juniors, to you, I dedicate the single most important piece of advice in this entire speech. Juniors, next year, you will all be seniors. Congratulations, but now you stare directly into the face of adversity. You will face an incalculable number of doctor's appointments. Fight off an influx of undiagnosable illnesses. And we'll face an ungodly amount of traffic on your way to school. So before I walk off, the one thing you should remember as you move from junior to senior year is be nice to Mrs. Prutton. Thank you.